25 to order. Dr. Hudak, do you have any, approve the agenda?
Approve the agenda.
All right, you approve the minutes from the 6/5/25 meeting?
I do, and I couldn't figure out what the difference was from the most recent one that was sent. Apparently there was a change. I was like, looks the same to me.
I think we moved something up. I think we moved something up from 5 to 4 on the new one.
You mean the agenda or the supporting document?
I thought it was on the minutes.
All the minutes, it should be the same.
Yeah, I think it was on the agenda or the supporting.
It was the agenda, yeah. Tweaked.
All right, cool, those are approved. All right, so number 4, we're gonna start with the policies that are been requested for review. We'll start with A, which is DJ small purchasing.
I'm sorry,
Oh.
before we start, I wanna explain why you have yellow writing and mark-throughs and more underlines. Is because we had VSBA recommendations that we were using while we were waiting for more updates. So that was what I did originally. Then we received Sands Anderson's updates for the same policies again. So I combined both so that you could
Is this
see
the best
what
of
they
both
were.
worlds?
Yeah,
Yeah, these are double looked at.
and I didn't realize that till after we had already made the supporting documents. And I didn't want to confuse you and bring in another set of paper, so I just put it all in there. So anything that's yellow is what not school board member, my goodness, Sands Anderson said, and anything that's just struck through and not highlighted is VSBA. And this is what the exec team decided to leave for you to work from.
We did all the combining of the, after she did all that work, then we said, here's how it sounds best.
That's confusing, but.
All right. So DJ, which is small purchasing, that's the first one on our list here. Mr. Hagler, I think that might be.
Yep, know what you mean. So bottom line, this one is they're raising the requirement for doing a formal bid process on this one to 300,000 from 200,000. They've gone up on this in my years here 2 or 3 times as time goes on with inflation. So just before you have to do a formal bid, we could still do a formal bid under that if we wanted to, but we could go out and get 3 written quotes and move forward with a project if we wanted, if it's below 300,000. So it's moving it up. Still the requirement that we take these things to committee when we do that, either facility committee or finance committee, depending on what we're doing on. So that doesn't change notification of the committees, just the threshold of when we do a formal bid.
I remember that this actually brings me back to my first ever board meeting and the infamous water fountain situation, where the water fountains were brought up. It was $250,000 for 50 water fountains. And I said, in good conscience, I can't vote for that. So we didn't, but since then, so we then formed committees based off of that meeting. So now we have several committees now that would see that, and that we could go to board members and the staff and say, we're good with this? And then, so we lowered it. That was one of the first changes we did. We lowered it to 200,000, I believe it was.
It's been at 200,000.
We lowered it from wherever it was down to 200.
Mhm.
And I think now you're asking for it to go back up, but I think, so playing both sides of this.
Well, the state is asking.
That's what the state
It was
is
a
saying
state
that we
law
do?
change.
The state law changed. This is really not reporting to committees. This is state code that says if you think a project's gonna be over 300,000, you have to go for a sealed formal bid.
Okay.
This will not impact notification of committees.
No, because now that we have committees, at that point, we didn't have them, that's what I was saying. So, but if this is for state law,
Yeah,
then,
yeah. The
Then we're
facility
good.
committee, and really this would pertain mostly to facilities and
Yes.
construction. We're bringing projects to them for 25,000. We're briefing them on all projects that are going on,
Yeah.
except for a repair that needs to be done. But any kind of project, we're briefing them on everything.
So what's the net effect of this? Does
That
it
means
streamline the process?
It would streamline the process that if a project was gonna be for 250,000 or estimated that, we could get 3 written quotes from 3 different vendors, present that to the committee and move forward. The formal bid process is you gotta put the legal document, they submit it by legal, they come here, we open it at one time and we do that. It just streamlines the process a little bit. I'd say for our organization with the committees, really not much of an impact. we would be reporting 3 written quotes to the committee rather than a field, formal bid. So
Okay.
that's the only change.
And this really reflects state law change.
State law change up to
We're not
300
gonna
days.
policy on our
Yeah.
part.
It just gives a little bit more flexibility to move quicker. But with our committee structure, we still take everything to committee.
Yeah. I think that instills confidence the way we have it set up, so I'm fine with that. We're good to move that one then?
Yeah, any policy that has yellow highlighting on it today is from state law changes.
Okay,
That's from state law that Sands Anderson has reviewed
Yeah.
and said you ought to do this.
And just for total, it doesn't have to be 300, it could be lower. It just can't be higher than 300. That's what state law says on procurement.
Okay,
okay,
So boards can get more restrictive, but they can't be looser, so.
got it.
okay, got it. I'm good.
Yep, I'm good.
All right, B, professional staff development, GCL.
Okay, so I know she said this is VSBA and then Sands Anderson is yellow, but these code changes came, like this VSBA document was January probably of last year.
It was May.
Yeah, these happened over the summer, the code changes happened over the summer, so that's why it's not shown in the VSBA document. One is just about, the training that has to be done for autism. And then one is very confusing, but it is in code, so it does have to be there. It basically says that teachers shouldn't have to be trained other than every 5 years on non-academic items, up to 25 hours. But what's interesting about this policy, and we've kind of put it up to the VDOE to tell us what to do with this. In here it says, the total frequency duration of non-academic training activities in which each BCPS teacher is required to participate, state law or regulation. So basically, is required to participate pursuant to federal law or regulation. So it's saying there is a limitation on how much non-academic training can be given, except if it's mandated by federal law or regulation. Well, guess what? All the ones we do are mandated by federal law or regulation. So we ask, for example, specifically, because I think the ones that get in the way here are like cultural competency training that's required, bloodborne pathogen has to be done every year, all of those types of training, Title IX has to be done every year, there's a whole list of them, but even seizure training, but they're all mandated by law or regulation. So basically, I can't figure out what this code change does in actuality. So I kind of wanted you to know that in case, because people think this limits their training. But when you know that everything's in code and it has to be done, then it doesn't really limit the training. So I just kind of wanted you guys to know that. But it is code, it has to be, so. So we've asked for clarification. Which code do we obey? The code that says we do it? Anyway. Because we would like to cut down on our mandatory training.
Doesn't
In
sound
areas like
it
that.
doesn't sound like they're contradictory, it just sounds redundant.
Well, I think they're contradictory in saying non-academic training like bloodborne pathogen and cultural competency. Then if I read this correctly, you should only have to do those once every 5 years. But they're saying you have to follow the statute, which the
says you have to
statute
do
says you
every
have to do
year.
them every year. So that's what we're asking for clarification on, but I can't change what's in code, that's what's written in code, so.
So if these changes are changes to code and things that we have to do, and you're
Yeah.
waiting on clarification, where that clarification, how good that would be in like a regulation?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, once we get, or basically, I guess I just want teachers to understand, because when you read this and you say, oh, well, they came out with this code that I don't have to do training, but, you know, every 5 years and up to 25 hours, then you were like, why am I getting all this training again this year?
Because it's superseded by federal law.
Yeah,
Federal or state law says that, and it's not like we're asking as Bedford County Public Schools to do
Right.
it. That's
So
where
I
we have the
guess-
discretion,
Yes.
is in that.
so I guess just so you guys would understand that in case you get a complaint, you would understand how they contradict each other.
And this, and just for people that may be watching, I mean, the central office staff and this committee have met with elected representatives and have talked to them about how burdensome a lot of this can be. They understand that, and hopefully we can get some things done, but we are fighting to ensure, like, hey, the training that we need to do, we're gonna do. The training that we think is relevant, we do. But the other things, we're trying to push back on that. It's like knocking
we are.
over a Coke machine, takes a while, and then hopefully you get them to go over. Okay, so anything that's in yellow those are the changes?
Yeah, and they're both, the section codes are listed in them.
Yeah. This section here that's been underlined, it's on the second part on the page, it's all underlined, so that means it's all new. Are those things that you guys put in?
No,
page.
all the yellow is,
The yellow is what Sands Anderson
Yes.
gave us, and some of it is from 2024 law, and some of it's from 2025 law,
Okay.
and so that's.
so I guess.
This is saying a whole bunch of Virginia code and Virginia code, so I would assume
Right.
that was.
Yeah, and
I guess you didn't highlight that because Sands Anderson didn't say that part, BSBA had already said that part.
They gave us that in May of 24.
So I guess we're kind of like 2 revisions behind. Like if we'd have revised in May, we would have put the black section. And then
Yeah, all the
if
new
we'd have
stuff.
revised now, we
Yeah,
would have
yeah,
put
I
the
got
black
it.
section and the yellow section. So,
And if it's yellow and it has stuff struck through, it's VSBA writing and Sands Anderson. They were so similar that we just marked through some of it. It's confusing, I understand. This is the easiest way I knew how to make you see it all in front of you at once.
and a lot of that in the middle is just what you have to do with provisional teachers coming into special education. Because you can come into special education with a provisional with a degree in something else and 1 class in special education. So I think that's why they had to mandate some training there,
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
which I agree with.
Dr. Hubach, you see anything on there?
I can see Leanne's point that there could be kickback from people saying, this says you can't make me do anything that I've done in the last 5 years.
I thought I'd have kickback with the start of this school year because it was a big thing in the news. Like this whole thing was huge in the news about the limitations to staff training and because they're overburdened and which they are. But there was nothing. Everybody just did it. So maybe it'll be.
Things go into several columns. What did we mandate? Was a state mandate? What does federal do? And how often that is? If you could do that, we say, we're limiting on the things that we can do. We're controlling what we can control. There's other things that we can't. And if you break it down that way, I think they would understand that. And it doesn't mean we're still not fighting for the teachers, but I think that's a good clarification.
Yeah, and a lot of
for them.
things when we put it out there, we put the code beside it. So there's no doubt that Bedford County doesn't just do this to do it. You know what I mean? We have to do it.
Okay. Are you okay with that?
I am okay with B, it doesn't sound like there's a lot of option.
We will go,
I love to go rogue. No.
we'll do C, IA, instructional goals and objectives.
Okay, so these are just additions. Notice I don't have any yellow, mine is all from VSBA. So It is just codifying in policy what's already in law, that there's a passport program with community colleges. We sign an agreement with them that will participate in the passport program. Basically, there are certain classes that we can offer dual enrollment in that will help students get an associate's degree. CVCC is working really hard with all of our partnering colleges in the community to have those colleges take any dual enrollment credits that we offer through CVCC when our students are juniors and seniors. So that's just putting that in there. And also there's some discussion about college and career ready Virginia programs. That is part of the new 3E accreditation model, making sure that our students are college and career ready. And then on the back of that policy is just adding in part of our instructional objectives is this new program of literacy instruction based on the science of reading, and that we will have a plan that's approved by the board, and that at the very end that parents will be given notice and a copy of their child's reading plan, and they'll sign off on it. And that's now K-8. It extended to 8th this year. So we're just updating what we're doing by law.
Yeah, I didn't have any questions about
No.
that. It just looks like it expanded to include the passport program and the Virginia literacy.
Correct.
Just kind of ballooned it a little.
Right.
Okay, that's good. Rolling right along, IGAD, Career and Technical Education.
So this is part of that career and college readiness and the new accreditation model. So students have always been required to do academic career plans. We are now required to list, and we get these from the Department of Education, the top professions in Virginia, and what the skills are that are required for that, and which institutes of higher education comply with the DOE and provide students with what they would need to be ready for whatever career they choose that are in those top list of top professions in Virginia. It also, on the back, you'll see that we've also, and again, this is coming from the DOE, we now have industry recognized credentials that are accepted as substitutes for certain credits for high school graduation. And students are now, as part of that new accreditation model, they get more credit for credentials in what we call high need jobs. So if there's a large need in Virginia for, let's say, mechanics or cosmetology or something like that, when school divisions are graded under accreditation, students who choose those career paths, you get more points if they go into high needed jobs in Virginia. So that's part of that CTE credentialing. So it's all, again, just part of that whole umbrella of college and career readiness.
Background question.
Sure.
Do you have any idea how they rate the top 10 professions in Virginia? Is that based on numbers of people that are going into them, or is
I
it
don't know,
by
but-
salaries or by?
I could get that information, and CPO would be a great place to bring it back to. I can get you that information.
Number qualifies as the
Great
10,
question.
and well, you know, and
its
so
overall need or pay.
something like that could help to kind of form, okay, what's the next CTE program that we're looking at? And you know, where are our gaps in those top 10s?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I can find out.
All right, I'm good with that.
Next one's mine too.
You're just on fire.
I
Health education, physical education.
So this is, we were gonna bring this policy back anyway, and then I went in and added more based on what we talked about at the board meeting last month. So we were required to add the new health instruction and health instruction that includes these topics. These are in the health SOLs and the family life SOLs. And so I think we did a great job with family life. We addressed that first one, and then all of these are just new health SOLs. We do have a policy about physical education. And so what I added here is, so K-5 students are required by law to have 20 minutes of daily recess. Now, recess is defined as it can be PE. Most of our elementary schools do PE and recess. You know, they give that extra recess. Recess is every day. So what I added was recess is for physical activity and shall not include time on Chromebooks or other devices, because that was a concern that students were being rewarded by having time on their Chromebooks and things like that. And so physical activity, we have had some questions about like students losing the privilege of recess. Our goal is always, okay, so you might not have the privilege of, right now, you've lost 10 minutes of recess for behavior. So you're gonna walk and do some things, do some physical activity and for part of your recess, and then the rest you can join back in with your friends and doing games and things like that. But we did put it in this policy that it can't be on a Chromebook or any other device, that it has to be physical activity.
Yep, I like that.
Oh, and I'm sorry, and then on the back, it's just, again, codifying what we've been doing for a couple of years, which is JROTC. They fulfill their health requirement when they are in JROTC. They do the physical education part as part of their JROTC training. They run and they do all kinds of, very, they spend a lot of time training. And then we provide the health portion to them online with Janelle Trosper, who is PE teacher at Forest Middle School. So that just adds that in, the JROTC, that time in training does count towards their PE requirements. So they don't have to do JROTC, be in training for an hour or so, and then when they go back to the base school, have to take another PE class. It keeps them open to get the rest of their core classes in for diploma.
I think there was an executive order this year, I could be mistaken. I thought they were bringing back the presidential physical fitness test.
Yes.
There's nothing else, it was just an executive order, there's no guidelines or
There
anything for
hasn't
that?
been, I think,
That was in K through 5, right, wasn't that?
I think what they are, the direction from the executive order was that the DOE would have to create guidelines and a process, and they'll send that out to us.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything new about that yet.
I think Johnny Knight would like for disciplinary action to be extra PE, extra recess time.
For some people, that would be true. Yes. And I will say, our board probably, I think it's been over 10 years ago, they actually upped the goal of required physical education time for students in Bedford County, and they actually made it higher than,
Yeah, it was 10 minutes or something.
yeah, it was 10 minutes, and then they added more to the 150 minutes per week. So, yeah, so it used to be the state required 10 minutes of recess, and they upped it to 20, and
I remember getting class rewards when we were kids, and like if everybody did their homework all week or had perfect attendance, we would get like, do we encourage
Extra
that?
recess.
Do we encourage that? Okay,
yeah,
All right.
extra recess.
that was like the best. Oh, man. Yeah, everyone better get their work done. Peer pressure involved.
Peer
man.
pressure.
Make sure there's no hazing because you didn't get your work done. But that's good, I'm glad we use that as a good incentive.
Yeah.
Okay, good there. F.
Oh, this is mine too. So, basically, this is updates, basically about special education regulations, and it kind of puts together the state and the federal requirements for students with disabilities in the form of credit accommodations. So basically, this is talking about how, as a school division, we can authorize locally verified credits for students who have disabilities. So if they reach a certain score, but maybe it's not what the state would say is a passing SOL score, but they're in 15 points of receiving that passing score, that we can, as a school division, if they've tried multiple times, they're doing well in the class, we can give them the verified credit without making them take the test. Before this law, our SPED kids were sometimes taking tests 10, 11 times, and it just, that's defeating. And so this gives us some flexibility with that. It also allows us to actually give them credit accommodations, and we start talking about that early on in talking about career planning. So when they're transitioning over to 9th grade, we'll start talking and educating parents about those locally verified credits so that we can support our students with an IEP. So we basically just updated that. And then there is some updates here. Basically, bottom line, this whole section here that's highlighted, underlined, and all of that, we have to designate one faculty member to serve as our special education parent and family liaison, and that's actually one of our supervisors, and that's the point person for families and parents if they have questions about eligibility, IEPs, any kind of family support they need, and that's advertised on our website, and so we're required to have it. We've had one for quite a while, but it's now in our policy.
Can you elaborate on the Child Find program?
So, Child Find is a program where we work with physicians, we work with mental health counselors. Basically, anyone can refer a student to us for participation in a meeting to discuss their concerns of a student's academic or developmental growth. So we get a lot of students who are going to their pediatrician. The pediatrician recognizes there may be a speech problem or they're not developing physically. So they will make a recommendation to the school system for us to meet with that family. And then we begin what we call the school consultation team begins to meet. We try to do intervention. That's how we get a lot of our 2- and 3-year-olds in speech services or OT services or PT services. So it basically is a requirement by law that we are open to anyone who might make a referral for us to look into if a student is struggling. Our preschool population in early childhood special education has really exploded from those referrals, which is good because early intervention is the best. Our struggle is being able to, we don't want to identify kids too early. So typically those students are, we say, unless there's an obvious disability, that they may be developmentally delayed, they need a little bit more time, and with intervention, we retest them at the age of 7 to see if they fall into a category or not, or has the intervention they've gotten in our schools worked. We also work with local preschools, community preschools. We actually have a teacher who goes to our community preschools for any student identified for speech, OT, PT. They go out to preschools in Bedford and work with those students off-site. Does that help?
Yes. Who's the contact person?
So
Like if I wanted to make a referral from my office,
Sure.
who would I contact?
you would reach out to Kelly Jennings or Ashley Seyfried, and that is on, I actually think Kelly may have some brochures and stuff that she tries to get people to drop off. So let me check with her. She might have some brochures you can have, but I'll definitely get you the contact information because typically that referral comes to Ashley Seyfried, who's our preschool coordinator for Child Find. And it can be Child Find. Let's say you have a student who comes to you, maybe they move in. Child Find applies from 2 years old up to 18. So it may be a child who comes in and you recognize needs services or something's going on. You can make that recommendation at any time. But I'll check on the brochures and make sure you have the contact.
Thank you.
Otherwise, I'm good with it.
Very good. We're good there. F. School zone transfers, G.
I'm so proud of this. Okay, this is me again. So we've been talking the last couple months about what do we do to address redistricting. And so I have added, and this is based on, actually, I got this from a recommended policy for a company who was advising a school board on redistricting. And they advised that for redistricting, you should just make a generic policy in the sense of when a local school board wants to do redistricting or is considering redistricting, they recognize that there are different adjustments in different parts of the school division. So basically, when redistricting is necessary, the superintendent or designee will develop and implement procedures to guide that process that comply with the Code of Virginia and any school board policy, that gives clear and consistent criteria, that provide opportunities for public comment, which you have to do when you're doing redistricting, includes a timeline and ensures equitable access to programs. And it also says that will be presented, the procedures and any suggestions for that, to the school board for approval. So basically, if we continue to move forward, our team would come to the board and say, based on the area we're looking at redistricting, this is what we think we should do as far, do we grandfather all the kids in, just 4th or 5th grade? And we come to you with a plan for you to approve.
I think that's established in that second bullet, isn't it?
Well,
It's kind of generic, but yet,
oh,
for us to make that a, request of them.
oh yeah, that's actually in this last one, the superintendent, no, I took my glasses off, will present the redistricting
Right.
procedures to the board for approval.
So do we address those issues here, or do we address those issues when we make the presentation again? For grandfathering.
So what this policy is saying is that if the board makes a decision that they want to look at redistricting, instead of having a one-size-fits-all school zone policy that we just put into place no matter what the school or area is, we talk about it at the time of redistricting, and then we make a recommendation based on the data we have about those schools. So I'll just give you an example. The board requested that we look at the forest zone schools. So part of what I'm thinking about is I am thinking about what to suggest to the board for what we do with school zone transfers. I'm looking at how many do we currently have in those schools? How much is it changing the population? What's our projected population over the next couple of years? Do we look at siblings? So I'm trying to gather the data to make a good recommendation to the board of this is what I think you should do with current zone transfers that we have in schools, and what do we do about parents who want to put in a zone transfer for schools that have been closed because they're full. So really the board makes the decision about how we do it. This just gives us the freedom that we don't have to change this policy every time we look at redistricting based on the school. It's just basically this policy says the board will make that decision upon recommendations from the superintendent or their designee.
I mean, and that makes sense, because the situation every time you look at redistricting is gonna be totally different.
Exactly,
Enrollment changes every year.
yeah. And there's a
Employment.
decline, I was reading a little bit about today, there's a decline right now in birth rate and because of COVID. So we're gonna see a little bit of a drop before we see
Which,
it back up. Yeah,
which we've had. I mean,
we have definitely had.
even three children, you see, it's like 1.5. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah.
I think it's very clear, I think it gives the flexibility, you know, you always wanna be able to call an audible when you need to, and
Right,
otherwise, it would have to come back to a committee, you're looking at least 2 months, meaning that if it even gets out of committee,
right.
and then to even get approved, so I think by doing this, it gives you guys some wiggle room, which is what is needed, because time could be of the essence, and you don't have time for a 4-month back and forth per se.
Right.
The only thing, it's very clear, but the last sentence says, all changes shall be communicated to the public in a transparent and timely manner. I understand timely manner, I understand what you're getting at. That's still kind of a
Still
bit
vague.
vague.
Vague, okay.
So,
You know,
thoughts on that?
we could take it out. I mean, I was just using an example that I had, because we do say here in this bullet, we provide opportunities for public input. And that public input is a public hearing. So,
I don't think you can put a timeline on it because you
Yeah.
have to go in and change your policy when you didn't meet the timeline.
I would take out
we could
I would
just,
take out saying timely, because one thing we're definitely gonna be is transparent.
so just all changes
Yeah,
will be
because
communicated
and as
in a
soon as we have
transparent-
information and we go through all the steps of having the public comment and everything else, it'll be on the docket and they'll all know.
Correct.
Um,
Are you okay with provide opportunities for public input, or would you want that to say a public hearing? By law, it requires a public hearing if you change more than 15% of a school's population. But input can also be, I use that word because it could be a hearing, but it also could just be phone calls, it could be
Letters, emails.
letters, emails, which you'll get all of that.
I
Is
think
that the case still when it's only 15% or less?
You don't have to,
Right.
but as a,
So if it was
Never
under 15,
recommend
let's say it
not
was
doing it.
14%, you wouldn't even have to send a letter
no,
necessarily.
you wouldn't have to do a public hearing.
But you would
You'd
send a
have to
letter.
notify, yeah.
But you might have 5 or 10 kids that you needed to move
Yeah.
at one
Correct.
time that you wouldn't wanna go
That you
through.
wouldn't need, yeah.
No, I get that.
The only thing, and this is me looking back at what I have already written, that the superintendent or superintendent's designee, that approval right there, it does talk about redistricting procedures and any proposed boundary changes for review and approval. So this is the school zone policy, and the reason it talks about boundaries is because that's
Yeah.
what school zones are made of. And we definitely, I mean, obviously for moving boundaries, we would have your permission, but also the procedures is what I was really trying to get at, like how we do it. But I just want to be sure you're okay and you feel like that's clear enough that the board, it's really the board's decision on all of it at that.
I mean, I feel like I'm okay with that sentence. When we have like a public hearing, we've had them here, right? So we'll do that at like 6 o'clock, correct?
Whenever y'all want, yes.
Whenever we're doing it. So our 5 to 6 hours, usually a lot of other stuff, staff reports and things of that nature. I think that maybe when we're doing redistricting, at that point, people will probably be here and we'll probably get more people than we would normally get. It would be important for one of those staff, or the thing right before it, would be, again, because we would have already discussed it at a meeting, just a summary of what we're proposing and why we're proposing it, because you may answer some of the questions
Right.
there. So I don't know if we want to put that in there. I would think it's a best practice and we would do it anyway. But you want to just add a bullet point and saying, you know, prior to that, the public input, like, we would have a quick summary or review? Because people may just hear about it on Facebook and they were not going to go back and look at what we said.
Right.
But you're not necessarily talking about that, you're just talking about a public hearing, not the, like, before the 5 or 6 o'clock, you know.
If we did the public
work
hearing, odds
session
are
type
it
of
would
thing.
be right before a school, or during a school board meeting.
So could we say prior to a public hearing?
Yeah.
Staff will present the board, at that point,
Just because I'm thinking if we have 30 people here, or 50
Yeah.
people here, they're gonna go, well, you're doing this and you're doing that, and sometimes that might not really be the
Right,
truth.
be
But if
the-
we're like, no, here's what we're doing, and by the way, we do want your input, and then we're gonna go back and,
I think it's good practice.
Just for
No,
clarification
be in
of the
written.
current data,
Situation, the problem that we're addressing, and how what we're proposing addresses that problem. And then let's hear what you have to say.
So how about, prior to a public hearing, the board and staff will summarize proposed changes for the public. Maybe. Will,
Give an overview.
summary.
Yeah, either way.
one of the things that, and we could add this in here, one of the things that would be my suggestion is that every parent is mailed a letter who's affected. In that letter, we say there will be a public hearing on, here's access to a presentation with more information. So we could even, we could say, prior to a public hearing, the school board and school board office staff will send letters to all families.
I think we send letters, I think we can even
And-
post the proposed on our Facebook or whatever, social media. It's like over communication, but we wanna make sure they're
I
aware.
would just say we'll communicate rather than, you know what I mean? We may not have Facebook.
How about,
You don't wanna
Will
necessarily tie yourself into
No,
all
you don't
of
wanna
Right.
tie your, you want it to be more.
how about we'll communicate the plan through multiple avenues, and then in parentheses, say, letters, i.e. presentations, in social media, maybe?
We're just not gonna drop them
Multiple
from an
methods
airplane.
to
Multiple
ensure that
methods.
everybody affected is contacted directly.
And I'll clean it up and send it to you. I knew you were looking at me out, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just put ask him.
Okay, I'll add that in for,
Okay.
So this stack goes for information review in the next meeting.
it does. Now,
How does that affect this one, which is now in our timeline, already delayed timeline?
it could be pulled off and approved separately if the board is
'Cause we're
okay
already-
with that.
Essentially 2 months behind.
Or-
We did
We
that
can
before.
fast forward one by presenting it as an action item.
Yeah, or,
Because if we have to wait till October for you to approve it,
Yeah.
then we're not getting into a conversation with the public until second, third week of October into November.
Which we need, the more time we need,
Right.
the better. If you have the whole second
So
semester,
that's my
if
biggest
a
concern is
decision's
how,
made.
do you pull this one out for an action?
Yeah, I don't, I think we've
And
been
so
pretty
if-
public and transparent
if
about
that's
the
the
thought
case-
process, we should do that.
If that's the case, then when you guys rewrite this one, could we submit it to them to read ahead of time?
I could send it in a Wednesday memo
Yeah,
next
we
week.
send it in a Wednesday
So
memo.
that you have time to look at it, if there's any issues, kind of look back and forth. Because I don't wanna go another month if we don't have to.
I agree. I think it should be presented for informational and action at the same time, and we'll get it out to the public, and Diana will have it squared away.
I have 3, and now it'll be 4 really important Wednesday memos next week, so check your email. Actually, tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Tomorrow's Wednesday. One of them's family life changes.
All right, so that'll be good once you send it, put it in a Wednesday memo.
I'll
and
get it done
and
tonight.
make sure everybody comments. I'm sure everyone will be fine with that. Okay, HJFCG.
That's me, cell phones, electronic communication devices. These changes are due to state law. Sands Anderson reviewed our policy and we got that back recently. I'll highlight the summary of the changes on the second page, the first paragraph with the underlining. All that does is it outlines circumstances where students could possibly use devices at school under certain plans and documentation. The second paragraph there outlines the responsibility is the principals to implement the bell-to-bell no cell policy. And then the third underlined paragraph basically outlines from state law that students cannot be suspended or expelled solely for the possession of an electronic device, and current regulation outlines the consequences. On the fourth violation, it clearly outlines that it's outright defiance and that the defiance results in a suspension. So the other thing that I wanted to bring up is Sands Anderson did, and Dr. Calvert and I spoke about this, our current policy has the employee use of cell phone as a part of the student policy. Sands Anderson said one of their suggestions was that we could pull that out and make a separate adult employee policy. SBMA has a sample adult policy, but that's truly y'all's preference.
We can bring it back to you, I guess, if you want a separate policy.
So if you want a separate policy, we could strike the bottom and then pull
What
it.
advantage would a separate policy create? Does
It
it
would
make
get
it
it in the
easier?
employee section
Not
opposed
in
to
the
the
student
student section of the policy manual. SBMA's version is pretty short and sweet.
It's all pretty boilerplate standard of what we already have.
And we have some policies that are word for word, and they're just in two different sections. So that you know, this one applies to students and this one applies to the adult staff.
And
I guess that's why.
we did look at SBMA's student policy, but our current policy is more aligned to our regulation because our pouch program and all of those things align. So the verbiage, it made sense with Sands Anderson on that. The staff policy, I think, we're open to
Yeah.
whatever you all.
And we've consulted with everyone, and this is the right policy that's written here. I understand you're taking it out and moving it. I mean,
Now back to the
Basically
regulation.
says the same thing.
yeah,
We'll need to change the regulation after you all approve this if and when this policy is just on the IEP 504 language. Because right now it talks about medical
I was
exceptions.
gonna say, this is expanded over what the original policy was.
No, we're still doing that, our practice is doing that, but we'll put it in the regulation to match the policy, once you guys approve as a board.
well, I mean, I'm okay with this, even the employee thing. If we wanna get this in so we can information and get it through
As written,
as written,
okay?
and then bring another policy that's just the one for the teachers, information, and do that, and then we can bring this one back, and then we could strike that section, if you wanna do it that way and have it clean. At least that way we're getting kinda through it,
Yeah, because striking the section right now takes it out till we get it back.
and then they have no teachers, we have no
Right.
regulations.
So I agree with you there. I don't mind it being here, but I kind of like it being in the employee section.
Yeah.
And then we can reference the policy and all the employee handbooks and everything like that with the employee policy number.
Does it need to be either or can it not be both? If you took
It
that
can be
paragraph-
both.
Paragraph out and put it in the employee section and leave it here because it is pertinent to cell phones, period. It doesn't muddy the waters or make
As long as what's in the
interventions
student is congruent or.
Yeah, I would want them to perfectly match.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would want this one to match that one perfectly, maybe put it in twice. I'm fine with that. Theirs is just more, I mean, while
Theirs
we
is more
mention emergency situations, they mention it by a sentence, enforcement, like, it does, we didn't put in a sentence, they have supervisors are responsible for ensuring compliance with this policy. Enforcement shall be applied consistently and fairly across all schools and departments. I don't think I specifically said that in the one that's listed on this page. They also say they're not liable for lost or stolen or damaged devices.
We have that in our reg.
We have that in the reg, yeah, and then, it references emergency situations, this one does too. So I'd wanna tweak a little bit.
But as of now, it's, if we, do you wanna change it? Do you wanna go, right, we're going through it, so do you wanna, we have time, do you wanna make those changes now, and then we just approve it once, and then put it in the other one, or you wanna wait?
I wanna bring it back, if you don't mind.
So we can, we're not gonna strike it, we're gonna leave this as is, we're gonna try to move this along, and then you come back and make the changes? That's, okay, I'm okay with that.
As I just wanna make sure I'm happy with everything, and I really haven't done that yet. I wanted to ask your opinion first.
Our opinion is, we want you to be happy.
Thank you,
Concur.
Don't blow up her head.
thank you. If everybody had that attitude, we'd all be happy.
Hey, I'm not gonna speak for any other.
Can I
We,
back
we,
us
we,
back
we
up?
blow your head up in another
Yeah.
way a lot of times anyway, so you can give one.
Can I ask how you like this bullet? I'm backing up, just, I wanna be sure it's right.
Okay.
Prior to a public hearing, the proposed changes will be communicated to affected families through multiple methods, i.e. letters, emails, presentations, etc.
Oh, I'm back on G.
Yes, I'm sorry, I
Pretty
jumped
good.
backwards.
To ensure that all affected persons are communicated directly or that are contacted directly.
Okay.
You don't want anybody coming back and saying, I never heard about this. Well, we send up a smoke signal.
Okay.
I was gonna say dropping leaflets from a plane.
That's because we sent it to your house. And that you really live in somewhere else.
Well, and, you know,
H,
You-
H is good to go.
you may end up with a certified letter
Thank you.
too, you know, and just do that instead of hitting every.
6, 7, 8. 8 for 8. Do you guys have any other topics for discussion? No? Next committee meeting date?
Yes, we need to get that on the
Yes.
calendar.
Okay.
My only request is if it can at least be the week before I have to give stuff to Diana, so it gives me time to edit this stuff. If not, I'll just deal with it, but
No, we need to make you happy too.
Yes, that's another,
Absolutely.
that should be a policy. Okay. 23rd of September? Same bat time, same bat channel. It gives a couple weeks
That's
before the meeting.
CPO.
Oh, really? I see how it is.
We could do them back to
We
back.
could do it back to back, back to back.
Oh, boy.
I'll be driving back from Raleigh on September 30th. Might be tight. But that still gives you Miss Sexton the time that she might need.
that's the day you have to give stuff to Diana for the board meeting.
Alright, so it can't be then.
If you want something on the board meeting, then it'd have to be before. Or else it would be on the next board
Isn't
meeting.
your CPO meeting on a regular day, monthly schedule?
It's always on the fourth Tuesday.
It's always on the 14th. We probably need to just fix a date that
Yeah.
you guys know in advance, and if an emergency comes up, it comes up, but
I could do the 16th or I can't do the 16th. I could do the 23rd. But I'm just sticking to a Tuesday. I mean, I could do,
I was gonna say, what other days of the week could you do that?
I could-
Same week of the 23rd.
no, I could do the 22nd. Pretty soon I'll be wide open, but
What day does Diana need hers?
The 30th.
I'm doing the 22nd. It's a Monday. Your Monday mornings are tied up typically, right? So Monday afternoon's a little better.
Monday afternoons are better for me, yes. But we can do the 22nd.
I could do the 22nd. We want to do 3 o'clock again?
Yeah, that gives us,
Do you wanna shoot for just putting that on the calendar?
I'm good for that.
fourth Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let it be said.
I'll put that on the next agenda.
Declare it.
I'll put a list of meetings so that
I mean, and if it comes down to the fact that you're on the road or something, you had to tweak it to a Thursday afternoon or something just to get it in.
I mean, we can do them
You
with
can-
one, we
you
can
can
do them
do
with
that.
1, 2 as
You
well.
can do that, you know, it's just establishing it makes it easier on you guys.
I was gonna say the
Hey, I'm not
4th.
gonna be here, I'm gonna be here.
4th Monday. Should edit this and see if we can.
Cause I noticed the other day, I was looking ahead on CPO and good grief, I think we've had CPOs scheduled in the spring already.
We're efficient in CPA.
Yes, we are. I was like, oh, that's the only thing I had in 1 week was CPO.
No, and I don't know how to,
we're interested in the outcomes.
every 4 weeks.
I don't think that Google Calendars do that. Think you can do it every 4
4
weeks
months.
or,
Come on,
yeah,
guys.
once a month or.
I can.
Oh, you can do it every 4 weeks.
Monthly on
Yeah,
the
you
fourth
can.
Monday, yeah, you can do it.
Rotate because not all months have 4 weeks in them.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
I
we
can
got
add
the
you to my
Thanksgiving.
invite I'm creating for the exec team if you'd like me to.
You
It'll send you an invite to your
One
Google
thing that stinks
Calendar.
is I have like 5 different calendars and I
Oh.
have to then copy it. But, no, I'll get it. I'll put
Okay.
it down. I got nothing to do with that. Put it down.
Send some sarcasm there.
No, I'll do.
No, I mean, for
We
not
merged our companies with another, so now there's a new, so I have another new email and I have another new. So but like, I have a shared calendar with my wife and she keeps me, she's like, you have a meeting. So I'm like, okay, good. But that's like, it's different than our calendar, so.
Oh, did you just put that on?
The boss of the house takes care
I
of
put it on there, it's like double.
Yeah, you should just let her know. She'll keep me straight.
And I'm gonna put
All
it
right,
on
well,
the-
that's good. We got a lot done in an hour and change. That's really good. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I think we should adjourn. Make that motion.
That makes 2 of us. We are adjourned.